Welcome to SRA 221. In this video, we will be going over the confused deputy problem. The confused deputy problem is a well-known problem that arises due to a poor configuration of access control lists in discretionary access control. The confused deputy is a program that is fooled by some other party into misusing its own authority. In essence, it is a well-known example of privilege escalation. We will take a look at the confused deputy problem through an example. Suppose we have two resources, a compiler and a billing file, otherwise known as bill. The compiler has access to file bill and can also write to it. The file includes some sensitive information in which our user, Alice, cannot access it. On the other end, Alice can invoke a compiler and execute the compiler. In the access control matrix on the right, you can see the resulting access metrics with all of the privileges that we have discussed. You will see that Alice cannot access bill. However, she can execute the compiler, whereas the compiler can read and write to the file bill. The compile is acting as a subject rather than an object because it's able to execute and activate access to the resource file bill. So you can see that according to the displayed privileges, Alice is able to invoke the file compiler, and the compiler on the other end is able to both read and write to the file bill. The compiler is now basically a deputy acting on behalf of Alice. Therefore, the compiler is now confused because the compiler, when executed on behalf of Alice, may still access according to its own privileges of the file bill. However, this is in violation of Alice's access rights because Alice is not allowed to write to the file bill. The confused deputy problem is a well-known problem, as we have mentioned earlier. The problem arises due to a separation of authority from the purpose for which a given resource is used, which may create possible conflicting access control privileges that apply to a resource. This problem is particularly important when access control lists are used. It's difficult to detect this problem with access control lists because it's not a single access control list that is inconsistent. Rather, it's the checking of various lists or the comparison of various lists that can only reveal these types of confusing issues. On the other hand, if we use capability lists, which represent the user's access privileges, these issues are less likely to arise and can actually be fully prevented. In this way, you maintain some association between authority and the intended purpose, making it easier to control the confused deputy problem and to delegate authority as needed.